there was two things I had to invest money into when I first got into insurance investments and being self-employed or starting a business. And one of them was the location, and the other one was support. And I could tell you that people don't like paying a bill. The only bill you like paying is the last bill to pay something off so that you don't have another bill. But outside of that, we don't like having bills. So when you have to change the way that you're looking at this. And I remember going up to this guy and he says, invest in getting a desk and et cetera. And I got this desk and I started putting money into the business. And we've done other videos where it talks about how that responsibility produced accountability and it gave me a different identity. And we talk about that a lot here in the office, right? That if you want to see a return on an investment, that you first have to make that investment. And so, but the second one wasn't so much the space and the location, it was the support person. Because you negotiate with yourself and you'll say things like, I know I can do it. I'll just wake up earlier. I'll just do it here. I'll just fit it in. I don't have the money to pay that person. I can't afford that. Man, that's another, $800. That's another $1,000. That's another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. I just can't afford that. And it's such a normal way to think. It's a conservative way of thinking. It is not the wrong way of thinking, but it's necessarily not the best way of thinking. And to think when you say, I can save that money, you're absolutely right. But what could you have produced with the time it took you to do that task? So we sell life insurance. And so let's say that I sit down with a client and by the time we look at what they need in coverage, their premium, let's say it's $300. Right? That's what they're going to have to pay into their life insurance policy. Term, perm, blend, spouse policy, etc. $300. We get advanced 12 months up front when that policy gets issued, so that's $3,600. I'm giving you my business. You may have a different business. Sure you do. $3,600. Okay, in that one sale, I generate $3,600. Now, if I look at the activity that I'm doing throughout the week, of things that are busy work. They're necessary, but, and we did a time management video I highly recommend you to go watch, but they're not activities. It's not something you have to do. Somebody else can do it. 80% as good as you, so you delegate that to somebody else. Well, if I put 10 hours into that activity every single week, now I have 40 hours of time. The mistake I see a lot of people make in my business is, when you sell a policy, there's a lot of follow-up that needs to get done. And so a lot of agents don't want to invest into some support staff to be able to help them get their policies approved. So we see them throughout the day spending 2-3 hours on calling insurance companies, finding out what they need, updating a client, etc. Right? Well, you do that 2 hours a day times 5 days a week, you have 10 hours there. So that's 40 hours a month. So the question is, if you had 40 additional hours, how many of those policies, how much additional sales, how much additional premium could you do with 40 hours more of time? And you may say, man, with 40 hours more time, I could make an extra $10,000 of sales per month. Well, then if the position costs you 4 and you can make 10, then your net gain is 6, right? Minus taxes, etc. That's a great return, right? Because that's 150% return on what it's going to cost you. If it costs me 4 and I make 6, it's 150% return. Now, does that mean that I could just hire anybody? No, you have to get clear on what is that role? What is the personality type? What are the skill sets? What are the mindsets that person would need? Then you're going to have to look at training that person. And a lot of these things see, that's the reason I don't have anybody, because I'd have to spend more time and I'm so busy doing the work that I don't have the time to invest into that person. Then for the rest of your career, your life, your business, you're going to be too busy doing the work to grow to the next level. So you're going to have to find that time. You may have to eliminate something that you're doing. You may have to wake up a little bit earlier. You may have to be able to accomplish things faster, but you got to find the time that's necessary to find you more time. And so then there's I got to train the person, right? So if you train one person effectively and you hire the right person and you train the right person, more often than not, that person can train other people for you. So if it took you 20 hours to train somebody, 40 hours to train somebody, 100 hours to train somebody, but they're able to go train somebody else and spend that 100 hours training that person, right? You just got 100% return on your time, right? You invested 100 hours, you got 100 hours. And it's actually exponential if those activities are producing, exponential results for you. So it's really not 100%. Then you also have to measure this in the aspect of quality of life, right? Maybe you say, if I hire somebody that's $4,000, I'm going to make $8,000 instead of that $10,000, right? But I'm going to make 100% return, but I'm going to get back 2 additional hours per week, right? 10 hours per week, 2 additional hours per day. What would I do with that? I could work out. I could have a better date night or a date night. I could take my kid to practice. I could make one of my kids' games. I could pick my kids up from school. So you then start measuring not based on dollars coming back to you, but based on time and quality of life. And what I've realized is you can build a team if you have the right skill sets, you're in the right business, you have the right mindset, you're good at what you do, or you're great at what you do, that you can build the right team to be able to have the kind of life that you want. Will it cost money? Yes. But if you're training them and managing that process effectively, not only will you be more profitable, but you'll also have more time life, right? More life back, more time back. And so I want to challenge all of you, if you have a limited mentality or a scarcity mentality or an employee mentality or a self-employed mentality, that I cannot hire somebody to support me because of what it's going to cost, that in that you are stopping abundance and success from coming your way. Because there isn't a lack of money in this world. There's just a lack of an abundant mentality and a lack of clarity and a lack of understanding. And I had to work on that. That's why I said the 2 hardest things that I had to invest money into right off the bat was location and support. But today we have the biggest support team that we've ever had, right? The best support team that we've ever had, the best quality of life we've ever had. Why? Because I made that investment into my very first support person. And when you do your best to hire right. One mistake that I have made in my career on hiring people is I didn't fire faster. Okay, I didn't hire better and fire faster. And I don't mean to fire people in a bad way. I'm sure that person would be great at another job, and people want to naturally be good at what they do. Somebody doesn't want to suck at what they do. So if you're hiring the right person for the wrong position, right? Or the wrong person for the right position, they're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy. Nobody wins in that scenario. So you may need to come up with a better way of hiring. There's a great book called The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni, where there's questions in the back about what makes a person a good person to hire, and then what questions you can ask. So hire better, and number 2, fire faster. When people make mistakes and you give them a benefit, a chance, right? Benefit of doubt. You give them a chance, and then you give them a second chance and a third chance, and they keep making the same mistake. That shows you who they are. And one of the challenges for us, if you're a compassionate person, is you want to see that person get better, especially if you've gotten better. But if they're making signs of improvement, then the question is, do you have the time, right? Is that okay with you? And if it's not, again, it goes back to then hiring better. So hire better, fire faster, train better as well. Be compassionate in this, but be intelligent as well. And if you are trying to get somewhere, you need the right people on your team to help you get there. So I hope this helps your mindset on looking at investing into your business and changes maybe a perspective of a lack of and a cost of versus, man, what kind of return on investment can I get? And you start going from that employee to that business owner mentality, because you look at the biggest companies in the world, they have the greatest numbers of employees and technology. They've invested into technology and employees so they can be more successful. If you found value in the video, please subscribe it, guys, like it, and we'll see you on the next video, everybody. Take care.